What's up? My name is Extra. I'm a day trader and I'm about to tell you the top three things that people don't get right in trading. First of all, look at that view. Absolutely gorgeous. I get to go to sleep at night looking at this. And here's what I actually did to be able to do that. So I have had quite a bit of experience on the charts and in communities with trading. And I've worked with a lot of people one-on-one to be able to identify their issues. And I'm about to tell you, I'd say the top three issues when it really comes to am I making money versus not making money on the charts. So the number one issue, and this one I can't stress enough, and nobody's talking about it, and it pisses me off. Stop spending all day on the charts. Okay, so when you're first starting out, and I know exactly what you're feeling, bro. I know that you're enthusiastic, you're dedicated, you feel some kind of jump in your system that you've never felt before. You know what I mean? You're like, I'm gonna do this, bro. I'm learning about it every single day. I'm writing down notes. Like for me, at least, I was even physically drawing out charts on pieces of paper, bro. Like I took it that far, bro. And all I would do is live, eat, breathe the freaking charts and learn about price action and day trading, and I went crazy doing that. Okay, the difficult part is when you're trying to, like, bro, there was a point in time where I didn't know what day of the week it was because I was just literally working all the time to learn this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And I only found out what day of the week was when I was, for example, like on a train and I saw everyone dressed up. I was like, oh, everyone's dressed up, and that's when it kind of clicked in my head. It was Friday night. The problem comes when you actually start executing, right? So I had to start kind of getting to a routine and start sleeping early and stuff like that when I actually had to get up in the morning and start trading on paper and all that, and then eventually start using funded accounts. But you have to take yourself out of that mindset, right? You have to adjust, you have to shift, you have to change, because it should be the opposite. Once you know everything, the only reason you should be on the charts is if you're either A, forward testing, or B, collecting data, which is, I guess, basically the same thing, right? Or like back testing rather. So yeah, forward testing or back testing. But the problem is when people back test, they make this one critical mistake that, again, I see nobody talking about. They back test the entire day of session. Like, okay, I'm gonna go on the 5 minute, I'm gonna click forward, and I'm just going to take every single step that my model presents, and I'm gonna track the record from there. How does that make sense exactly? If you're collecting data on your model and you only trade New York Open, why are you taking trades outside of that session? That makes absolutely no sense to me, because if you're trying to backtest for what you should be doing in the future, then that indirectly means that you should be trading every single session, which is the exact opposite of what you actually want to be doing, because you want to be spending your time using your financial freedoms to do whatever you want with the rest of your time. But you're not making money on the charts to just go and try to trade more. Like, you're trading for an hour in a day and then you're gone. So that's the first major thing that I would say. Stop spending so much time on the charts. If you're learning the charts, dude, just learn what happens during your allocated time, right? Your dedicated time to when you actually trade. Because if you're looking at price action outside of it, the only other reason you should be doing that is to see the analysis for the next day. Like, let's say right now it's actually like 5 a.m. And if I look at the charts right now, I'll be thinking like, okay, cool, this is what's happening during this period. But you would have already seen that doing your pre-market analysis before the market even opens at, like, 8 a.m. or 8:30, right? When you first get up, you're like, all right, this is what the market did overnight. That's literally all you need to do. You don't need to watch it in real time and how price moves and reacts to certain levels or certain or certain PD arrays, right? Because you don't do that unless you're taking a trade, but you're not trading unless it's New York Open. So that's the first thing, all right? The second thing that I would say that most traders do struggle with would honestly be thinking that their model isn't working. And I have the biggest tip for you, bro, like the absolute biggest tip, right? That you could honestly take in, and after you take my tip, after you take that tip, I can't stop thinking about it. The biggest piece of advice that I can actually give is that you just need to find your daily bias. That's literally it. Find the next draw on liquidity. That's why my model is called the liquidity array, right? You have to find that daily bias, because if you take, for example, like a buy-sell indicator and you try to get profitable with it, you actually will. But after fees and commissions, you'll break even at 50%. That's why you need your own input and actually need to be able to identify where's our next draw on liquidity, where are we going to, right? Where is price heading to? Where does price want to take out? Which price point does price want to slam and just take out, right? And draw towards. So when it comes to actually trusting your model, you just need to know where price wants to draw towards. That's literally it, right? It's like one of the big, like stems, right? Like there's like, oh, not trusting your model and being impatient. And one of the biggest things that stem from that is not knowing where your draw is, because you could be taking a trade and it could be perfectly valid and lining up with your model, but if your bias is wrong, then like no wonder you took a loss. You know what I mean? So you want to identify which way price is going, what the market structure is looking like, and then take a trade based off of that. It's literally that simple, right? Like you don't want to be going like short on like an extremely bullish market. Like this makes absolutely zero sense. It's like the worst thing that you could possibly do, right? If like the 5 minutes says bullish, if like the 4 hour says bullish, 15 minutes says bullish, 1 hour says bullish, 5 minutes says bullish, but all of a sudden you break structure on the 1 minute to bearish and you just want to take a short, like then also without like an SMT or something like that, it just makes zero sense, right? You'll land up with my model, like bro, doesn't matter, right? And on top of that too, like price action is discretionary as well. So that's why you kind of need like experience and time with the charts to be able to kind of overcome that. You just need to see the same thing play out over and over again, and you should be good. Moving on to our third and final point as to why traders can't actually turn a profit on the charts would honestly have to be funded accounts, right? It's honestly crazy how much traders get their mind fucked with because they're on funded accounts. So think about this logically. It's literally engineered. Did you know that prop firms work with with psychiatrists with master's degrees to be able to make as much money from you as possible? If you didn't know that, fun fact. So let's say you go ahead and buy a prop firm account, right? Let's be like 50K top step account, whatever. You aren't actually giving $50,000 to manage. You know how much you have? $2,000. Don't know why you have $2,000? Because that's how much drawdown you have. If you equate the amount of drawdown you have to a live account, it'd be the same. It's like, oh, I have $2,000 I can risk. Right, in a live account, if you put in $2,000, that's how much you have. If you put in 50K in a live account, you can send 20 bands into one trade. You can't do that on a funded account. So when people take this and see the insane account balance, 50K, and you make like, you know, a couple $100 on top of it, which is what you should be doing if you're just starting out, people will just say, holy fuck, like that's such a little amount of money. My P&L only went up by like 0.005% and I'm crashing out. Bro, it's literally designed to fuck with your head. So what I gone ahead and did is just take the amount of drawdown I have and consider that much as my live capital. So let's just say I have like 5 accounts. Each of them have like 5 bands of drawdown. Like I could just say, oh, I have like 450K in like total funds, but actually no, I only have like 25K or 20K because there's so much drawdown I have. That's like kind of like what I had to really get into my mind to be able to say, oh, it's just trying to fuck with me, and I don't have to worry about making such little amount of money, right? It's what's actually going on is that I have the drawdown as my actual account size. So when I started looking at it from that perspective, I'm like, oh shoot, because there was once a time where I was $87 or $86 in drawdown from blowing my account, and I had the mindset switch. I was like, yo, I should just like go live and just throw in $100 in there, bro. Like this funded account shit isn't worth it. But that's when I realized, yo, I have $87 of live funds technically. It's the exact same thing. 2 weeks later, I made 10 bands. And I have proof of it too on my Instagram. Like on that account, I took like a 8K payout or some shit. It was insane. Like one of the most insane days of my life. And I was like, holy crap, this is how you actually do this. And from there on, just continue to, you know, get more and more payouts and just fucking get profitable. And from that moment, I was just like, yo, this is a lot easier than it seems if I simply just take a step back and look at things for what they really are. You know what I mean? And really focus and really look at it. So I look at, you know, my trades. I'm like, which way is market going? What is it drawing towards? Especially in the higher time frame because it holds more power. Okay, cool. Problem solved. oh, how much money do I have to play with? I actually have this amount of money, not this amount of money, because that's what they make you want to think, so you fucking blow your shit. Oh, what do profitable traders do? Well, how does it make sense that I'm trading all the sessions when on backtesting when I'm only trading one session on my actual account? Why would I backtest all sessions and collect data from there? These things don't make sense. Let me do what actually makes sense and step into the shoes of that profitable trader so I can actually become that profitable trader and do the things that they do so I can eventually get there. Because if I'm not doing what they're doing, then I'm not going to them. I'm going somewhere else. Those are my 3 biggest tips. Drop a like if you enjoyed. Drop a sub, drop a comment. Description, free Discord. Bye-bye.